not the actual NFL draft that I'm broadcasting. In fact, this is the Q. This is the trivia game that you can understand on a day like today, at an hour like today, why my thoughts might be elsewhere. I'm a giant football fan, as you can tell. I'm a Skins fan. I haven't had a whole lot to cheer for recently, but that's all going to change because I just saw we drafted Chase Young, the defensive end from Ohio State. So I'm very excited about that. You can tweet me. You can hit me up on social media at Mark Ellis Live and let me know how excited you are for the Redskins' run to the Super Bowl this year. Just so everybody knows, this is not actually a Chase Young jersey. This is actually, I'll show you, this is a Robert Griffin III jersey that I still have in the closet. So that's what we're going with because it's still showing the team colors. Anyway, I wish they changed the name. How are you doing? Are you a big football fan? I hope you are because that's pretty much what we're going with today as our theme in the Q today. 12 questions, all multiple choice, about something to do with the NFL, with pigskin, with football, with the gridiron. The draft is going on right as we speak, and now I get to host a trivia show about said topic, and that's pretty fun. So $50 is going to be on the line, and if you're smart enough to win, then you're going to get at least a share of that $50. Even if you miss a question, keep playing, keep getting those points, accruing your total, get that as high as you possibly can because you never know if that's going to pay off down the road. I'm just excited that the draft is happening because we don't have any live sports currently, so this is about as close as we get. And I think we're 2 picks in, and no team has missed a Zoom conference call yet. Everybody's on point, so I'm excited about it. And if you think I'd take some time to stall before the match begins, you should have been watching the NFL draft. We had the national anthem. We had Roger Goodell twice. We had, I think there was like a Bud Light 5-minute commercial. Peyton Manning narrated something. So it was a long time, but we got there. Joe Burrow was the first pick overall. Chase Young for my Redskins was the second pick. And now, who is it? I think the Dolphins are on the clock. The Lions are on the clock, and the pick is in. So I'll keep you all posted on what's going on in the draft if you stick with me here in the Q Trivia. All right. Before we get started, remember, share this with your friends, with your family. Every time somebody joins the app, the Q Trivia app, and they use your referral code, you get an extra life. That's pretty sweet. They get an extra life, too. And if you're a football fan like me, you know extra lives matter. Man, I'd love to have an extra life. I'd love to have – Brett Favre would have liked to have an extra life when he threw that pick against the Saints in 2009. I'm sure that our boy Will, I'm sure that his Falcons would love to have an extra life in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Too soon? Sorry. I was rooting for you, Falcons fans. I really, really was. Good luck in Tampa, Tom. And Gronk. And we're going to start the game now that I thoroughly upset the brass. Your first question, it's a nice warm-up one. If you know anything about football, you should get this. It is multiple choice, and that question is, which team is the current Super Bowl champion? Yeah, they don't get more straightforward than that. Is it the Patriots? Is it the Chiefs? Or is it the Eagles? So think about what you were doing this past February. You had your chips, you had your dip, and you were watching a game. Then you saw the Top Gun Maverick trailer, and that looked awesome. Then the game started. Who was playing in the game? It was the 49ers, and they lost to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes was the MVP, had a great fourth quarter. It was kind of touch and go there for 3 quarters. The 49ers had the lead, but then the Chiefs came back, and Andy Reid, the coach who led the Eagles to so many championship game bursts, finally got his Super Bowl ring. So congratulations to the Chiefs, and I hope you enjoy the Super Bowl while you have it because it's coming home to D.C. next year. I'm being told that's in doubt. So we'll see. Your next question, sticking in the world of the NFL, as most of these questions will be, is about to happen. Here we go. We still have over 700 perfect games. Well done, y'all. In which city was the 2020 NFL Draft supposed to be held? Well, obviously, with COVID-19 kind of shutting things down for a few months, was it going to be in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, or New York? What do you think? Any one of those would be good destinations. I live in one of them. I just recently did stand-up where it was supposed to be held, and that was Las Vegas, Nevada. What a nutty time that would be. 32 factions of football fans all descending upon Las Vegas. I hate to look for silver linings in such a weird time that we live in, but maybe it's safer for everyone. It was certainly safer for all of our livers that we all did not go to Vegas to watch the NFL Draft live. That would have spent a lot of money and probably shortened my life by some degree. So we move on to your third question. The world of the NFL, possibly the draft. Joe Burrow, who was the number 1 overall pick, started his college career playing at what university? So Joe Burrow was just selected by the Cincinnati Bengals, number 1 overall. Did he start his career at LSU, Ohio State, or Penn State? Which one? So it's actually a homecoming of sorts for Joe Burrow, going back to Cincinnati because he's from Ohio, but did he play there? He actually did. He went to Ohio State and just didn't work out. And though he transferred, and then he goes to LSU, and lo and behold, from his junior to senior year, made a huge leap, won the Heisman Trophy, had an amazing run to the national championship with a bevy of great wide receivers, and Joe Burrow is the number 1 pick. But he started at Ohio State. That's right. I think he was backing up my guy, Dwayne Haskins. So there you go. You might want to have Joe Burrow. I'm not sure. I'll get back to you on that. All right, so we have well over 350 perfect rounds still going. Keep playing along, even if you missed a question. It's all fun and games here. Your next question is, Todd Gurley is currently playing for which team? So Todd Gurley, one of the premier running backs in the NFL a few short years ago, he went to the Super Bowl, but there was just something it looked like he might be injured. We weren't really sure, never got clear answers. And so instead of getting a huge contract with that team, he parted ways and went to which team? Is it the Falcons, the Rams, or the 49ers? The answer is actually those Falcons I was just referring to. He now plays for the Falcons, signed with them this offseason. So I would still fear him. If I'm in the NFC South, I would still fear what Todd Gurley can do if he's fully healthy. Him, Matt Ryan, maybe the Falcons have a resurgent year. There. Did I make you feel better, Will? All right. Your next question. In the world of the NFL, multiple choice. The current GM of the 49ers played 11 seasons with which team? Was it the Broncos, the 49ers, or the Buccaneers? I like this question. This is a good one. So the current GM of the Niners is John Lynch, and he was a strong safety, won a Super Bowl. So that would eliminate the 49ers because they haven't won a Super Bowl in a long time since Joe Montana, Steve Young glory days. The Broncos have won a championship fairly recently, but John Lynch was not on the team. He won when John Gruden was the head coach of the Buccaneers in 2002. Dexter Jackson was the MVP of that game, but John Lynch, one of the driving forces of that all-time great defense. Him, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, those kids could play some ball. All right. And I was doing a pretty good job as a GM. And you're doing a pretty good job here playing trivia. Yes, you are. We're about to hit the halfway point. We're at question 6. If you know about the NFL, you're enjoying the game so far. Your question. Which of these Hall of Famers was never drafted? Was it John Randall, Ray Guy, or Terrell Davis? John Randall, great career. The defensive lineman for the Vikings. Ray Guy, Hall of Fame punter, and Terrell Davis won back-to-back Super Bowls, was the MVP, Super Bowl 32. But the answer we were looking for, how do you not draft a guy? Even just look at John Randall. Remember all the cool, face paint he would do with his eye black? He did a lot of cool stuff, and he wasn't drafted. He found on a team, started playing ball with the Vikings, and it was love ever since. He was a really fun player to watch. Go back and check out those highlights. So John Randall was the answer, and we still have just under 100 perfect rounds left. All right, so we're eliminating some people. Somebody's going to be winning some money here today. Not as much as Joe Burrow just won, but you could get $50. Your next question. Who is the current MVP in the NFL? Ooh, so not Super Bowl MVP, current MVP of the NFL. Who was the MVP last season? Is it Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, or Lamar Jackson? All of them fantastic years. Such electrifying quarterbacks. We got a good young crop of quarterbacks to watch in the NFL right now. And I'm hoping to add my guy, Dwayne Haskins, to that list if he can start next year. But for this past season, there was nothing like Lamar Jackson on a football field, man. Electrifying to watch it. Who would have thought coming out of Louisville that he'd be able to make that transition to the NFL? John Harbaugh and the Ravens really geared an offense to fit his style, and it paid huge dividends. Looking forward to see what the Baltimore Ravens can do in 2020 if we get a season in 2020. So got 75 perfect rounds left. Kokomo is there. C. Washington, 661 is there. Is that Washington? Is in this Washington? And Chasen 134 in there as well. Ricky G, Kitty 9, still perfect rounds. So we got some good competitors here for the $50 prize. Your next question. Which quarterback was not taken as the #1 overall pick in the draft? Okay, so was it David Carr, Carson Wentz, or Cam Newton? Who was not taken #1? It happens with quarterbacks a lot. You go back to John Elway was #1 overall. Peyton Manning was #1 overall. Andrew Luck was number 1 overall. Then RG3 was number 2 right after him. But which one of those 3 was not the answer? David Carr was taken first overall by the Texans. Cam Newton, who had an incredible run at Auburn, and then Florida for a little bit before that, was taken number 1 overall by the Panthers. But it was Carson Wentz who was taken number 2 by the Eagles. Drafted number 2 by the Eagles. He forged quite a career for himself so far. He got knocked out of the last playoff game, so hopefully he can bounce back and keep his head on his shoulders. Not too good because I'm in your division, so he's up. All right, your next question. This is your 9th in today's match of 12. 64 perfect games remaining. Who was the first player ever drafted by the Tennessee Titans? Okay, so the Tennessee Titans used to be the Houston Oilers, and they moved to Tennessee. So was it Billy Cannon, was it Eddie George, or Javon Curse? When they moved to Tennessee. And they played the Rams in the Super Bowl shortly thereafter. Almost got it to overtime. Within 1 yard, Kevin Dyson reaching, couldn't quite get it. On that team was the first ever player that they drafted. You might have thought it was Eddie George from Ohio State. It was actually Javon Curse, better known as the Freak. And boy, was he. Super athletic defensive end. He could wreak havoc in the backfield. So Javon Curse is the answer. And it looks like we are down, ladies and gentlemen, to 13 competitors still with a perfect game. A lot of people taking that Billy Cannon bait. Okay. See, hang out. Even if you lost, hang out and see if you would have gotten these last 3 questions. Here we go. Your third to last question, multiple choice. Which team drafted Brett Favre? Was it the Packers, the Falcons, or the Vikings? Fun story about this. I think it was Paul Tagliabue might have been the commissioner back then, and they actually said, with whatever pick, this team selects Brett Favre. And that was before we knew how to pronounce Favre, even though it was R-V, and it just doesn't sound right. But nothing about Brett Favre was conventional if you ever watched him play. Got the job done. Got the job done. And we were looking for not the Packers. It is not the Packers. And everybody who is still perfect knew that. It's actually the Atlanta Falcons. He got drafted by the Falcons. He was back. Who was he backing up? Was he backing up Chris Miller? That was the starting quarterback, and he was just kind of partying too much. Got shipped off to the Packers. Don Mikowski gets hurt. Favre comes in, leads a comeback win that day against the Bengals, and the rest is history. And we move on to your penultimate question. I wish it would go on forever today. But alas, 2 questions left, and that one is the penultimate one. In 1986's NFL draft, which team drafted Bo Jackson? Ooh, I like this question. Is it the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, or the Raiders? Think about the Chiefs with those red uniforms, the Bucs with the creamsicle orange, or the Raiders with the classic silver and black. Well, you probably knew that Bo Jackson played a historical career with the Oakland Raiders, but actually the previous year, before he got drafted by the Raiders, he was drafted by the Buccaneers. Unfortunately for them, he famously declared he did not want to play for the Bucs. At that point, who would? And so he just didn't play for the Bucs. He instead went to baseball, played for the Kansas City Royals, and then eventually got on with the Oakland Raiders and was great in both sports. If you want to have some fun, just YouTube Bo Jackson. I've given you your whole evening's worth of delight. Enjoy. Your last question in today's match of sports NFL draft know-how is, who was the only first-round pick to never play a down in the NFL? The only first-round pick in history to never play a down. Was it Maurice Clarett, Jay Berwanger, or Giovanni Carmazzi? So Clarett was the running back, okay? Berwanger, I believe he was a quarterback, as was Giovanni Carmazzi. And so here's the story. Maurice Clarett was drafted, never ended up playing, I don't know if Giovanni ever played, but they were both drafted in the 3rd round. In the 1st round, Jay Berwanger was taken in the early 60s. He won the Heisman Trophy, and he was offered, get this, whatever sum of money. He wanted $1,000 a game. The management said no, and he never played it down in the NFL. The guy wanted $1,000 a game. Can you imagine that today? He wanted $1,000. They said no, and he went off to another career. So Jay Berwanger was the answer, and it looks like we have 9 perfect scores here today. Those were tough, and I'll be honest with you. I'm a huge NFL fan. I didn't get all 12 of them, so I think I went 11 for 12. So I wouldn't have won, but whoever did, congratulations. I bow to you. You are better than I. We got It's MJ, US 444, Bev 48 got there. Colonial 96. Good playing, everyone, and happy draft day. I know it's weird. I know we're all virtual, but thanks for hanging out with us, with me, and with the Q on this holiest of all NFL days, the draft day. Audrey's going to be back tomorrow with her final game of the week, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Then I'll be back for my final game of the week for a happy hour, 8:30 p.m. kickoff. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you tomorrow.